Hey Gordon, it's great to have you with me again. It's been a little while since you came on. I don't even know the last time you came on, but this is probably your third time, I think, if I'm right. It doesn't matter. What matters is that we're here to talk and learn more about everything that we can, to help somebody else, right? And so I just want to start with I've seen you grow over the past few years that we got to talk to each other, got to, work out, I was a client of yours, if nobody knows that. And then we became friends thereafter. And so I've seen you grow as a person and in your business and outside your business, right? So I'm just curious, let's just start with the business side, right? Because you say you're so busy, right? And so here I had this opportunity to grab you for about an hour or so to talk to you. And what is busy to you for your business now? Like what has shifted for you since the last time we were talking, probably over a year ago?
So clarity, where I went all in on one thing that I'm really, really good at, and that's one-on-one training, small group training, and online training still there. I just haven't really tapped into that market again. Just that I joined some local networking groups. That really helped me grow. I just put myself out there more. And when I say busy, like, listen, I this weekend I had two clients one day, two clients another day. Some days I had more. It always switches it up. It depends how, like, if I get, I'm always rescheduling or scheduling people that have to cancel. And so that's like the busy side of it. And busy is not a, I don't say it in a bad way. I say it in a very good, positive way. I picked up a lot of business recently and a lot of clientele. And this goes to show you when you go all in on one thing instead of being scattered through a bunch of different things. Now, mind you, I have the podcast and I go and I speak, but when you go all in on one thing, it really, really shows.
So your one thing now is just helping people in their fitness. Is that
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
right?
I've always done that. Been training for 27, 28 years at this point. Own business for the, in my business, Garage Fitness, for the last 14 years. And yeah, all in meaning I'm not trying to do something that everybody else is doing. Right? You see people with groups. Now, I'm not saying these things are bad inherently, but they're somebody else's ideas. Make a group, start a networking group, or start a men's group, or start this. Now, not like I said, that's not a bad thing, and it did teach me that that's not something I want to do, no matter. And it's to me, it's money will come, and maybe I won't make as much money, or maybe I will make more money. Who knows? But I know I right now it's not even about just the money. It's about what I really enjoy doing. Because at the end of the day, if you don't enjoy doing what you're doing, you're like what you're just running. You're just it's like you're running in circles, right? You just don't really. It's like that person who has a job they just really hate. They want to get out of it. And I really, if anybody out there who wants to start their own business, wants to become an entrepreneur, yeah, do it, man. Go for it. I say go in. And one tip I'll give, and this is something that everybody can use that wants to become an entrepreneur, trainer, and wants to start their own business, is if you have a job, continue doing that job, then do the other job on the side. That's how I started. I was doing personal training. Like I was a personal trainer, but I started doing it on the side on my own outside of that. So I was getting clientele because I knew what was happening next was basically what happened was I worked for Valley Total Fitness for 10 years. LA Fitness bought the gym. About a year into it, they laid me off. They laid me off because they wanted me to have a different certification and without even any warning, me and another guy. So if it wasn't for me already dipping my toes in the water and creating a clientele outside of training there, I would have been like I prepared for myself. I prepared myself. And then what happened was that the transition was very smooth. There was still a lot of bumps and bruises along the way, but it worked out, right? And it's continuing to work out day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. And to be in business for 14 years really says something. Most people don't last that long. Most people are out of business by this point easily. There's a high percentage. I don't even know what it is. There's statistics. I can ramble them off if I look them up. You guys can look it up if you want to. But most people, businesses fail.
Yeah, but you love doing what you're doing, and I think that's what keeps you going and why you keep showing up. And I also learned for myself too, what you just said is stop chasing the money, right? The money will come. So for me, I'm finding just to serve others, and I know that's what you're doing as far as health wise and mentally as well. right? But and so you're just showing up, you're just being yourself and sharing how they can become better, getting them in your gym or wherever gym, whatever gym you decide to attend, right? To help them with their training. Um, but yeah, but you, if I'm right, you marketed yourself a little bit different over the,
I would
past
say
year or so,
differently.
or
I would, well,
much
if you say
more.
differently, as in like met and going into networking groups in person,
Mhm. Yeah.
that would be like the difference. That's it. That would I would call that the added X factor, right? I have marketing online, and look, it took a while for that to even take off. Now I'm on top of the Google search. Now I'm getting messages all the time. People are setting up appointments. So I'm grabbing the attention of people from different areas of podcasting, the book, the public speaking, the marketing online, the in-person networking groups, a word of mouth. All these things over time, what happens is you create this nice. It's like a net, right? And you're fishing everywhere. You're fishing, but like I'm not doing any of the. I'm the biggest legwork I'm doing is going to a networking group once a week, right? Outside of that, my marketing, I pay for it. A lot of people say, "Oh, don't pay for the marketing. Don't. I wouldn't do that. Or do it organically at first." Great, right? You can do it your way, whatever way you want. I say, why not do both? Because I got to write off something anyway. So why not write off marketing?
Yeah, if you have nothing else, right?
What's there to lose? I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to if you make money, if you're going all in, you're making money, you're gonna have to spend it too, by the way. You're gonna
Mm.
have to spend it on your business and in your business.
Yeah. So what have you done in the past that basically you don't do anymore as far as marketing?
Oh my God, what don't I do anymore? I don't think there's nothing I don't do. I The only thing I don't do as much as I wish I want to get back into is making more content.
Mm.
That's a nice lead magnet. And there was one that I remember doing a lot of on my Facebook, and then I would make up like for instance, I would make, hey, who wants to learn about this for X, Y, and Z for training? And uh, inbox me, and I'll send you a whole list of whatever. And that actually picked up clientele that way too. So that's another thing you could do too for people out there is creating these hand raiser posts. Still, I think they're still helpful. People still want to know what you do it. And listen, they're not buying this personal training because anybody can go online and get a personal trainer from anywhere. I still have people do this to me. They go, "How much is the training?" And I'm like, "All right, if that's the first question you're asking, that's fine. But if it's a question that keeps coming up over and over again, and that's what your only thing you're concerned about, you don't understand what training is about. You don't understand because you're looking at it at a dollar amount and not looking at because you're if you're just looking at it just like I want to spend the least amount of money and get the that's what I want to do. You're not going to get the quality because a lot of time when people younger people too, usually people who get into business and personal training, what they'll do is they'll lower the prices,
Mm.
thinking that like I'm going to get the client. And what ends up happening is that now they're not able to make ends meet and they're not making a profit enough of a profit, and they have to close their business down. So, um, yeah, I'm real careful about that. I've been really careful about that. I always price myself accordingly. I didn't price myself out of the market, but I definitely didn't. I'm just not playing the game with everybody else.
So you know your value.
100%.
Yeah. And have you discounted before and don't do it anymore because you learned your lesson?
I never, I discounts. No, I never did. The only thing in the beginning, what I did was like grandfather people over. If that makes any sense to you. Like I still have people that are paying what they paid in the past, and they've been with me for 17 years. I'm not going to change the price on those people, right?
Mhm.
Just not going to do it. That's loyalty to me. Loyalty is more than the money. If you're with me 10, 15, whatever, how many years, and you're still training with me, I want to keep the prices fair, right where they are, where they had them before. But what happens is the other price, and I tell people this right off the bat, there are other people that are grandfathered over, and this is the prices what I charge now. Now I haven't upped my prices in a few years, so if anybody does want to come train with me, right now is like a really good time to
Better
do
do it
it.
now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I have not touched the prices in like wow, it's been like 5 years. But I'm so busy. I've been told to increase my rates because also what you'll get is higher quality of clients too.
Mm.
Because people who are looking for deals are usually the people that they don't last anyway, and they don't stick with the program. And I say program, it's a program's life, the rest of your life. Most people don't stick with it. Now, I'm not saying I need to train you like you need to train with me for 15 years. There's people who train with me for a year and they stop. There's some people who train with me for 6 months or so. But I always had to make a commitment. You got to make a commitment in yourself. If you want to see real results, you're not going to get it in just 3 months and it's going to just stay like that. You're going to need to continuing on, just like continuing education, just like anything, just like meditation, just like what hypnotherapy. I just hired a hypnotherapist to work with, and I had to listen to the tracks. When I don't listen to the track, I can see I feel myself slipping. But he's also there once a week to guide me, to keep me on track. So we got continuing that education for me, or continuing something like that when somebody's helping you, is huge and monumental compared to trying to do it on your own. And everybody goes, you could do these things on your own. Of course, I probably could, but maybe I couldn't. But this is the leverage I have, and I understand the value of that. I understand the value of hiring somebody else who knows their craft, right? Confidence isn't just given to you. You just don't read it in a book. You got to build it up over time. And how do you build confidence? Through others.
Yeah, right. And you can think about that as growing up, with your family, your parents and stuff. Like they helped you get past so much, right? And guided you along the way. Hopefully they built you the confidence to keep moving forward, right? And so basically now you're just exchanging money for something so you can become better in some area and have you as the mentor, the coach, whatever you're hiring, right? And so now you're helping them in that sense, building the confidence, being consistent, showing up. I when I was working with you, I think I said this before, right? Yeah, I gotta show up and say something good, right? I don't want to. Yeah, I didn't do anything last week. That wouldn't be right, especially if you're putting money out and you really want to do it. So, I'm sure most of the people that say no to the price really don't care that much about their body, or whatever they're asking and calling you for. They just they're thinking different, right? They think they can, yes, they can go do it themselves. I totally agree. But where's the discipline? Where's the confidence and putting all the hard work in it, and then not sharing it with somebody else that's cheering you on and rooting for you because they see that you can get this done. So there's a lot there, that you just unpacked of how a trainer like yourself, a coach, a mentor can be a guiding light and show them the way, show anybody the way for whatever they want to do. So we have to just stop being scared and not taking that leap of faith and diving into uh, having somebody help us along the way, whether it's fitness or it's podcasting or speaking or anything like that, right? And I share them because those are the things that come up between us at the moment. But I like that. I like that you shared that and how much you have been busy, right? And doing things. And that's good for what I hear because then you're helping more and more people, right? Um, for this the way the world is now, it seems like nobody really cares about themselves as far as fitness.
They care about everything else besides themselves
Yeah.
right now. And I see it more and more with social media. They're so inundated in everybody else's life and what's going on around the world. And if they just took care of themselves, the world would be better. Because
Yeah.
really, it's all perspective, man. It's all perspective. You can sit there and argue about politics through the days, you know, long as the day is long, and it's not going to make a difference, right? The only difference you can make is in yourself. And when you do that, the world changes around you. That's where
Hmm.
it really starts. It starts internally. Now, don't get me wrong. I see it, right? And I like it. Things I see the world the way it is, but you got to really start with yourself. And going back to what we talked about accountability. Here's a good stat. So there's it's upwhere around between about 97, 98% of people who try to do it on their own usually fail. And then now if you flip that, you hire somebody, it's the reverse. So people who have somebody that works with are more likely to succeed. They could decrease up to 90 something percent. I think it's somewhere around 97, 98%. And you can look that stat up. It could have changed. But I will say this, everybody I worked with, I left a mark. I left some kind of footprint because I've had people come back to me. I've had people tell me they hear me counting in their head when they're doing on their own, and they just hear my voice. So that is that's really cool because it goes to show you that what I was doing, what I have been doing, is working.
Yeah, it's your program. It's your coaching program that you have going on that, like I said, we were meeting every week, right? And so you're like, you have to hit these numbers, hit these, And so even if I didn't hit those numbers, it was like you did something, you got further. than where you were before. So
Yeah.
you aim high, you kind of, maybe you'll get in the middle, right? So, but you excelled in some way.
Yeah. How you doing now with your program?
With your program,
Yeah.
what you gave me, so with me, my schedule shifted, right? So as you know, with the book and everything else like that, it kind of took me away from some stuff. So now I'm breaking it down to where I'm doing a little bit each day and not, I was doing like an hour or so 3 days a week, right? And so that I found to be kind of tough when I'm coming home, taking care of other stuff, and then, I'm just like I feel like bombarded sometimes. So I'm still I'm actually working on trying to lose some weight right now. Right. My son he's like, when are you gonna start cutting? Right.
Yeah, because you're so
Uh,
fat right now, man.
yeah, that's what he's saying. Right. Yeah. That's not what he's saying. He just, but he said that to me before. Right? You look different, when I wasn't, what you're cutting as much, right? I wasn't lean, and I'm not lean anymore, but the muscle's still there. It's just your body just looks different, right? So, and now he's starting to lift some weights or whatever. He actually bought a punching bag for the basement too, so he's getting into that, I guess, a little bit. I don't know, but at least he's doing something. So um, I'm excited to see that. My protein seems to be disappearing every once in a while, because somebody else wants to drink it. But that's good. So yeah, so for me, I got to keep showing up, whether it's just a little bit or a lot, and then he can see the results, and then see the results for himself as well. Because now he's playing golf, and this wasn't about my son, but now he's starting to play golf and going to try out, and I guess maybe he wants to start being more fit for that, and for other things too, as a boy becoming a man. But yeah, I'm excited. I guess the past 3 years, I think, Gordon, since we knew each other, he's actually starting to see things and not doing things that other kids are doing nowadays, where they're just sitting around. Yeah, and yes, he does sit around, but he's still being active, doing stuff, working, going to school, golf or whatever else that looks like. So um, that makes me proud. I like seeing stuff like that happen. And yeah, and so back to you asking me about my schedule and all that kind of stuff, right? So I could still reach out to you and just ask you a few questions here and there, and it's nothing like hardcore. We're not diving in deep or anything, but at least you're still there. So I enjoy that, and that allows me to keep moving forward, right? And that's in the fitness part, right? And it helps me mentally too. So I don't want to ever forget that. I don't want to ever want to give that up either, because I know we were talking about clients and stuff like that. But and you did tell me, you're like, I was different because I wanted to change. And that's why I came. I don't even know if the price even mattered to me at the time. I can't say it was the best. I was in the best situation then either. I have no idea. But I was ready for it, right? So that was my next shift for that year. I think so. Um, this year would be 4 years being sober, and I think I started with you right after I stopped drinking. If I'm right, if I think if I'm right, I would have to go back and check Facebook or something.
Right, right. That's congratulations on that, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's
Not
coming
everybody could
up.
do that, and that's not everybody's journey. But to do that is amazing. I think it's really cool, man. You really. The thing is, you could always change up your program. And for anybody out there who thinks they need to do hour sessions, like me and John have talked prior to this plenty of times, and you could break it down. Even if you want to do 15 minutes a day, right? If that's better for you, if that works better for you, you split up the muscle groups. You could train a different set. You could do ways of doing it. You could do it with just dumbbells. You could do it with body weight. There's so many things. I've designed programs when I've designed programs for people that I break it down like that, right? It's got to really work and be tailored to you and your life. Listen, you're not going to do it if you don't. You're just not. You're just not going to do it if I shove a program in your face that doesn't fit your schedule. It doesn't fit your personality. It doesn't fit who you are. Now, there's some people that just refuse to work out, right? But because they know that working out's not my thing, they say, which is always makes me laugh because it should be. It should be everybody's thing to some degree. Because if you want to live a better life, a higher quality, have a higher quality of living, and You don't want to be going to doctors as much. You want to be more confident. You want to be more attractive to the opposite sex or same sex if that's your thing, whatever that is. Lifting weights, doing cardio, and eating right is the only way to get there. The only way. You're just you're lying to yourself, or you don't really care, right? And that's fine if you don't care. I'm here for the people who do care.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, because you do care. So you're always reaching out. You're always doing new things about any kind of pills or whatever coming out or stuff that you might have tried, and say, hey, I'm taking this. This is what it does. Maybe you need it too, right? And so that's always a good thing to have as well. Yeah, I think whoever's interested in like, being more fit and stuff like that, and even if they wanted to contact you or whoever else they might know, that's great. Just at least to make that move. But to have that resource like yourself, Gordon, where I could just ask you about creatine or whatever, and you would know everything about it. Like I don't know everything about it, but that's what makes a coach, a mentor, well worth it, no matter what the price is, right? Because you could just get the information from them instead of having to Google and figure out what's true, what's not true. So there's a lot of go ahead.
There's so much out there of misinformation, and I know you're not supposed to go online and argue with people, but I will definitely debate with you. If you want to, I will definitely debate things with people all the time that think it's like funny. It's called the Dunning Kruger effect, where people think they know more information than they know because
Mhm.
they just read it and or they watch a TikTok on it. And what happens is like I remember having this about what was it about detoxes. I actually wrote this in my book, and that detoxes aren't real. And when I say detoxes aren't real, I'm not talking about a real detox is detoxing, getting rid of the toxin.
Mhm.
So you quit alcohol 4 years ago. You detox by not doing the thing. You didn't take a pill to then make yourself detox and still drink. You had to do the thing, stop doing that thing. It's like you detox from a breakup. You stay away from the person. You get rid of all their contact information, right? When you're detoxing, you can't take a pill for that. Now, they were trying to say that there's these things you can drink and it helps out with this and that, but your liver and your kidneys do that just fine. If they didn't, what would happen is you would be very, very ill, right? So there's nothing you can do other than getting rid of the best thing you can do. Other things that can support's different, right? Than detoxing. Like milk thistle and fiber and prebiotics. That's a prebiotic. Probiotics like yogurt. Uh, Eating the right amount of this of nutrients when it comes to minerals and vitamins. Um, I don't think all vitamins are great in the high doses anyway. And that's a whole other story and subject. My point is that when you're talking about detoxing, you're not going to just get rid of things by taking a medication. They had this foot pad thing, by the way. Listen to this story. And you put it about your foot and then you peel it off and the toxins come out,
Oh
right?
yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dip it in water. Guess what happens? It becomes dirty. It's
Yeah.
all a scam, right? Enemas is another one. Oh, I'm gonna get something to clean out myself. And then that's a fertilizer back there, by the way. You need to have it. Once you mess with that, it's not a good thing. It can make it worse. So all these things that people are telling you, like I feel cleansed, I feel great. Oh, I took this drink all this crap came out. Yeah, you're messing with your like pH balances and stuff. It has nothing to do with detoxing. You have
Mm.
diarrhea, buddy. Like so. That's my little rant right there.
That's funny. But I like how you said that though. Detoxing, just pretty much just stop doing something and that's a detox,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah. It's a very simple thing, but it's harder. It's easier said than done, right? It's like you're telling somebody who's addicted to something, and that could be pattern driven, and that could also be physically driven if you're addicted to it physically, and emotionally, and all these things that you attach to it, whatever that is. So deep diving within yourself and understanding that's where the real change happens. Because change isn't going to happen just, like I said, by taking a pill. It's just not. I mean, when I say change, I'm talking about internally, mentally, and besides just the physically. I mean, there's things that you could take now, right? Look at GLP-1. Take that, you lose weight. But not everybody does. And what the bad thing, I teach people, by the way, how to properly eat and exercise when they're taking these GLPs. Because what happens is a lot of time they're not eating enough protein. That's a big one. They're just not eating enough, period. And they're not getting all the macronutrients and micronutrients. So that's a big conversation I have with my clients that do take those things. So you got to be real careful with that. And what happens when you stop taking it? I know what happens. I've seen it.
Gain weight.
People rebound
Yeah.
so hard on it that they start gorging themselves and gaining all the weight back and then some. I see it happen. So you got to be really careful how you administer these things, and be really careful once you take that leap, because it can go sideways. You just got to know what you're doing. You got to have good guidance still, and you have a proper diet and proper workouts, and you'll see results.
Yeah, and going to back how you supported and helped me, you gave me the program, the layout, and that allowed me to have something so if I ever lose track or whatever, I can go back to that. So that's another thing that you can get from like yourself, a coach or a mentor. You have a framework given to you, and it worked when you worked with them. If you're by yourself, now you use that framework to try and do it yourself, unless you want to hire that person again, right? But you have a blueprint. You're able to go ahead and go back through it. And that's exactly where I'm at with what we spoke about before. If I wanted to, I could just watch my food a lot more, cut the calories, all that kind of stuff. And that's where I'll get to. And I'm not going to get down to 147 again. That is just not not where I'm going.
Yeah, that was like a goal,
Yes,
short-term
I know.
goals like that.
That was a thing in the beginning. Sure.
Right. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I've done it when I competed. I do not desire to ever be 147 again myself on stage. Like I understand it's stage ready for me. And I don't desire to be that lean. I don't think it's even healthy to be that lean. I think there's a certain point where this whole industry can go sideways and you see it, especially with the enhancement use, the steroid use, the PEDs, performance enhancing drugs. You see it happening. 'Cause I never took steroids, but I went down the route of taking things that were stimulants, which really affected my mood and caused anxiety and panic attacks and all when I was younger. So I really steer clear of those things as much as I can. And when I say much as I can, I still drink coffee. Probably like at least once a day. But I actually wrote about not that's not the miracle drug you think it is, coffee, because it does build up over time, and your body stops working because your adenosine receptors build up, right? And they have to, and there's extra ones build up. So when you stop, you get real tired. So I'll take caffeine breaks, I call them, which are, if anybody out there wants to do this, try this out. If you're a caffeine drinker, I love it because it's great for workouts. It helps stimulate it as long as they don't overdo it. You don't want to go above 400 milligrams a day, by the way. Somewhere around 300. A leg day, you should probably do less because it's overstimulating, and that's why you get nauseous sometimes if you drink coffee before leg day. Um, but try a caffeine break for a week or two and like let yourself crash for a little bit. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, you get the best sleep ever when you do that. But you're tired throughout the day. And then what you do is then you re-implement the caffeine and only do it on the days you work out with weights, which is 3 times a week for me. When I do that, it works 10 times better. 10 times better. I'm not overstimulated. I don't feel like I'm getting nauseous. You just gotta, and like you got to be like a scientist sometimes with this stuff. I swear to God, because you could easily just go overboard. And probably every one of us that are caffeine drinkers, coffee drinkers, has drank too much coffee at one point in our lives, and like that didn't feel so great. But then it like will happen again sometimes, right? I will say this: there's a cool little hack. L-theanine. If you combine L-theanine with caffeine, it stabilizes the jitters, right? It's found in green tea. You can get through green tea or certain mushrooms, or what I like to do is get the powder form of it, and then you can have a little bit of L-theanine with caffeine, and it just stabilizes it if you want to do that. Too much L-theanine can make, for me, it makes me a little nauseous if eat too much of it. So I'll do it at nighttime for bed and just do it a little bit. That helps out, calm the nerves. If you have any nerves at night, that helps out. There's a nice stack that I listened to. Andrew Huberman talked about it. It was like L-theanine, um, chamomile. What else was? I tried GABA. GABA's like, I think that's another one that you could take. Magnesium, 3 and 8. We talked about that, you and I.
Yep.
3 and 8, or gluconate, and glycinate, and then you could do that with zinc and combine those two together. That's a good nighttime stack. There's
So you
another
take
one.
zinc at night?
What's that?
You take zinc at night?
You could take it at night. Yeah, take it,
Yeah.
combine it with magnesium threonate. They work synergistically,
Hmm.
so it's good to combine them too. Also, magnesium is good for muscle contraction, right? And you need that. So you need magnesium. It's very very important. But once again, you don't want to overdo these things. These are supplements. You can get them through foods, but when you're doing it as a supplement, just be mindful of any supplement, especially things that are fat soluble. There's water soluble vitamins and fat soluble, and then you got minerals, and you just like I remember I was combining a bunch of stuff together, and I just didn't feel right. So recently, I just really stepped back and taken a lot of supplements and take a very few, just a few. I still take creatine almost daily. You don't need to once you get it in your system for a while. You don't always need to take it daily. I recommend still try to get 3 to 5 grams from muscle. But if you're looking for brain health, there's showing studies now they increase it up to like 15 to 20 grams a day. I would spread that out because you get your GI tract can get all messed up. At least for me, it did. I started like if too much creatine all at once made me have diarrhea. I just didn't like that feeling. I don't want to have diarrhea. uh, so I'd rather just do the recommended dose, and I'm good with that. And by the way, creatine's found in state food, so that's why the supplement was been. We talked about. You brought it up earlier. Just made me think about it. It's the most studied supplement out there, and with the most benefits for how safe it is. So everybody can benefit from creatine, even kids. I would still talk to your doctor, but even kids can benefit from it.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, my son was starting to take protein. I believe he started taking that with it. But I also know the protein has some in it, the one I buy. So it's got a little bit, not a lot, but just a little bit. So yeah, so that's all there. I mean, that was a lot of great stuff there. Number one, because I do drink a lot of coffee, and I think it's more of the fact because I stopped drinking a while ago, right? So that's one thing I got rid of. And then, I don't drink soda. If I do, it's far few in between. And tea, I don't drink that much. So it's like water and coffee, right? Um, but yeah, I'll do that sometime. I'm gonna, you know, I guess I'll take a week off and just crawl up in a ball or something. I don't know how that works.
Well, you could wean yourself down and then do it that
Yeah,
way.
I started taking like half caffeine, right? Coffee, and then hopefully I just get the decaf or whatever, and then maybe just that's my weaning, right? To get off the caffeine
The
part.
decaf.
Yeah, but
I'm an all.
still.
I gotta be honest. I'm like an all or nothing guy sometimes, and not on
Mhm.
everything, but like certain things. When I went through that when I went through that withdrawal from kratom,
Yeah.
I'll tell you guys real quick. I started taking something called kratom and didn't realize what how bad it was for me until I read about it. But then I was already hooked. That it was already like they already had his like hooks in me, right? And the withdrawal effects were insane. And I couldn't just every time I tried to wean off, I would go right back. It never worked. I had to like quit cold turkey, and that was the worst. It's like it basically they call it gas station heroin now. I don't know if you knew that, John.
No.
Yeah, they call it gas station heroin, and it's getting banned from different states. I think Jersey's are banned. I think they're going to ban it from PA too. They have to. This stuff is like killing people. It's killed a couple basketball players, and I'm sure they're combining it with other things too. But what happens is your respiratory system gets suppressed, and you start breathing real shallow. So if you take enough of it, there was the OH or it's about 7-OH is a synthetic form of it now, which is way more powerful. With this one I was taking, felt amazing. I never knew what any of that stuff felt like because I didn't know what heroin felt like,
Mm.
right? But that's supposedly a close correlation, as close as you can come to it, because it works on your Emery receptors in your stomach, the kratom. And then what it did, it was the same. I had the same withdrawal effects. I had restless leg syndrome, night sweats. Uh, oh my God, I felt like depressed. It was crazy. It felt good until it didn't feel good anymore. And that's the
Mhm.
best way I can explain it. It's like you go up, 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 and then all of a sudden you level out, and you keep taking more and more and more, trying to chase this like high or good feeling. And then you start going downwards into like a more weird depression type state, not even
Mm.
yourself really, even though you have all your wits about you, like you're not yourself. And coming off of it was, oh my God, I mean, insomnia out the wazoo, right? restless leg syndrome was the worst because you couldn't sleep. I would pace all the time. I was real snappy. I try not to be. I was screaming into a pillow at night like a little like a baby. It was weird. I had to get it out, right? But I'll tell you, anybody who's ever been through a withdrawal like that, anybody's listening, they understand. Anybody who hasn't, I do not wish it upon my worst enemy. It is not a good feeling and it's not fun.
Yeah, I remember you going through that, and you were sharing all that at that time too. Um, and actually, I think you recorded something on for
Yeah,
you,
maybe
right?
I sent it to you. Did you? I don't
Yeah.
know if you ever got it. So yeah, like you get that. That's why I'm real careful when people take stuff, even these monster drinks and all that. I've drank them, right? I don't anymore. I just rather drink coffee because there's other stuff in it that it doesn't feel right.
Hmm.
If that makes sense, like something like in those drinks. I'll use one of my clients. He was drinking them. He told me, he said one day he got up, he stopped drinking them altogether. He was drinking so many, one day he started pissing the color of whatever the drink was, like
Oh,
pure dark green. And he's like, and that point on, I stopped. And he was having other problems because of it too. Because it definitely too much caffeine is caffeine's a drug, right?
hmm.
It is a drug, and it does stimulate you. Because what it does is it stops your what it does is it blocks the things that make you tired, like I said earlier, which is adenosine, and then you're awake. So it stimulates you. You gotta be careful with that too. It's like anything. Too much of a good thing is not good anymore.
Yeah, we all need our sleep too.
Right, right. I know I'm gonna have a tough time tonight because I did have a little bit of caffeine earlier around four, but
Yeah.
4:30. Like that usually is a half life, and like if you're gonna fall asleep later, fine. But they say that you don't want to do it when you first wake up. This is for people who like to drink caffeine.
Hmm.
You don't want to do it when you first wake up. They say wait a couple hours before you drink it. I know people always debate me on this one. They're like, I can't do that. I need my coffee when I first wake up. Well, fine, right? But your cortisol levels got to catch up. And then when it happens, a lot of times you be at the mid afternoon crash. Now, if you don't, good for you. And that's your thing. Keep doing what you're doing. It works for you. But the studies show that if you wait a little bit, you're better off and you get less likely to get crashes. And to stop it around 12 o'clock be best, but no later than 4. That's usually the rule of thumb. And you could, and that way it's out of your system by the time you fall asleep, or at least mostly out because it's a half life, right? You just keep cutting it in half.
Cool. Awesome. Well, now I have a bunch of notes that I can go ahead and run with it.
Yeah,
Try to
yeah.
get rid of this caffeine. Oh man, we'll see. Gordon, I always enjoy our conversations. You and I, we always talk off the camera, right? So here, everybody has a snapshot of some stuff that we could talk about off the camera, and they can go ahead and take your advice and run with it for the caffeine and all the stuff we just shared about, marketing, business, all that kind of stuff. So how can other people reach out to you that listen to this?
So if you want to reach out to me, you want to set up an appointment, what you can do is go to garagefitnesstrainer.com. I have a Calendly link in there. You can set up a 15-minute call or Zoom call. And what we could do is we could break down your goals and what you want to do, and we could do online training because most people aren't in this local area that are going to see this or hear this.
Mhm.
So if you want online coaching, like I did with you, John, and I did with countless others, is go in there, put your information in, set up the call, Garage Fitness Trainer, because that's the name of my business, Garage Fitness, and trainer.com. And you also can find me on Facebook at Bordonius. It's Gordonious. And if you want to go check me out on TikTok and see some of my videos on there, which is fun, and IG and all that, that's Gordon B Fit, Gordon B as in boy, Fit, Fit. It's a play on words, right? Be fit, being fit. It's my last name too, Brodecki, so it kind of works out really good. And then yeah, if you want to go check out IG, I'll give you one more, Garage Fitness underscore one. But you can just find me on Facebook. That's probably the best way. And really, just set up an appointment. Even if you just want to pick my brain for a little bit, we can have a conversation.
Yeah, that's great. And you have something coming up at the end of the month you're participating in, or you're helping run it. Did you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I could share a little bit about that. It's called the Ultimate Speaker Competition. It's going to be we're holding in Vegas. We're going to bring it here in Philadelphia again. But as the universe unfolded, things have happened and transpired along the way. where the promoter ended up losing, he lives in Vegas, losing his air conditioning for a week and
Mm,
a half to 2 weeks. Ended up happening, he had to go get a hotel. So getting promoting is really hard to do when you have all those problems happening. And they have like six puppies or something like that. And Christoph J. Wyman, and it's called the Ultimate Speaker Competitions. But with the how the what was really cool how it unfolded is a guy he helped out. He does. Christoph was working with somebody, and the guy that he found this that there's this building with where it has a beautiful venue that he helped this guy with because he does customer service for restaurants and all. And the guy and he ended up asking the guy, "Can we if they can do it there?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, well, you're part of the family now." So we got this absolutely gorgeous venue, and it's called the Ultimate Speaker Competition. And there's three different categories. You got a storyteller category. It's you compete like if you get on stage, you're going to compete in presenting yourself or in a public forum and speaking competition. It's really neat. Think of like Dance with the Stars, or think of like what's that one singing that musical that one show that used to be American Idol. Think of something like that, but think of it as in a speaking competition style. So three different categories. Let's go over it real quick. We got one is called the expert, and it's not an expert speaker; it's expert in your field. Right. Then we got one that's called storyteller. You do your storytelling style, and then one called inspire. Now, all three of these things can include inspire and storytelling in within it, and they should. But you want to highlight if you're in that category. And then what happens is two from each category go against each other, and then it comes breaks down to two altogether, and then they compete for the final. And that doesn't matter which category you're in at that point. And then they compete at the very end, 1-on-1. And really, it's not just about the competition. It's actually the competition is just like a side piece. We have a workshop. It helps build confidence in people. I've done it. That's why I'm still part of it. That's how it helped me propel my speaking career. And I got to the semifinals twice. A little pat on the back there, and it was a lot of fun. I kept going back. I became a judge, a sponsor, a speaker, promoted some of my programs there. Really, really, really cool event, man. If anybody wants to come out, it's going to be in Vegas. It's called the Ultimate Speaker Competition, and Christoph J. Wyman runs it, and it's a really well-run event. And everybody I've known that walked away from it has grown somewhere in their life,
mm.
in their speaking career. And listen, if not for nothing, what I did it because I just wanted to get out of my comfort zone, right? And if that's all you want to do, then this is a great venue. If you want to network, it's another great. If you want to create, if you want to have a friends and family type atmosphere too, it's really good. It's a really good event.
All right, cool, awesome. And where can they get information about that?
It's all you can go to the Ultimate Speaker Competition. It's the only one. You can go on line.com and look up that. You can find that and just sign up for it. Or if you want more information, you can always reach out to me about it too. So it's not entirely up to you guys if you want to do that and like want to if you really want to propel your speaking career. Christoph's like a number one coach in that area. He actually just won um, an award for that, and he was in a magazine for one of the top speaker coaches in the area, Vegas.
Awesome. Cool, man. Well, thank you, Gordon. Appreciate you sharing all that and coming on and sharing more knowledge that you've been experiencing with your business, uh, helping people become fit. So thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it, man. I have a lot more to share if you ever want to get on again. We just touched like on certain things. You want to get really into the health and fitness side of things and the bright programs, and your audience really wants to see that or hear that. I'm
Mhm.
definitely here for it. We can talk about whatever questions they have. Maybe they come up with some questions that you could ask, and I could jump back on, man, and we can tackle it.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
Awesome,
it
man.
is fun.
All right, man. You take care.
All
I'll
right,
see you.
thanks, John.
Yep.